This will it pick? Will it pick here? You need the table? You need the table, then you can. The one person is down somewhere.
How are you?
Your Excellency, we want to thank you immensely for this honor this morning. Well, you know, I'm speaking to my president. You can pick your voice. Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor. Your Excellency, we've come this morning as a delegation from your great party, the People's Democratic Party. We bring very, very warm greetings from Senator Ahmed Makarfi, the chairman of the National Caretaker Committee, Senator Ben Obi. We've already submitted the report. They've mandated us to submit copies of the report to Your Excellencies. And so we are very, very delighted to be here this morning. And I want to thank this delegation. They had to assemble very quickly from various parts, and that's, I'm deeply appreciative of their making the time to see Your Excellency. The committee was set up in November last year by the party. It's a large committee. We then, after our first plenary session, which lasted about 3 days, we worked very hard to identify the key problem areas that are affecting the party and came out with about 11 major areas that we needed to look into seriously and then find solutions. And the 11 then turned out to be the main syndicate groups. So instead of subcommittees, we organized the committee into problem-solving syndicate groups, and chaired by some of the very distinguished ladies and gentlemen that are here. For example, Syndicate 1 was chaired by Chief Tommy Kimi and Hajia Zainab Maina. Chief Tommy Kimi is he wanted to be here this morning. He asked me to convey his very, very profound apologies. And then we had Syndicate 2, looking at issues of how to organize congresses excellently. Syndicate 1 was looking at how do we revive and re-energize the party nationwide. And then, of course, Syndicate 3, looking at essentially the issues of party supremacy, party discipline, and the best practices worldwide in terms of internal democracy within each party. And then Syndicate 5, or Syndicate 3 was led by Senator Ibrahim Ida. They will now have Syndicate 5 that looked at review of our constitution and revision of the manifesto, led by Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliu and Right Honorable Emeka Ihediwa. Then Syndicate 5, and that was 4, Syndicate 5, looking at legal matters, a lot of the legal intricacies and difficulties. Then, of course, we had the Syndicate 6, looking at the ways in which we now, on a sustainable basis, be able to raise finances for the party. And they came out with some very innovative, ideas about party funding. And then Syndicate 7, we thought under an APC-controlled INEC, because this INEC to us is not really independent anymore. It's not like your INEC. Your INEC was very independent. Your INEC was very fair. Your INEC was allowed to do its work. And I must say, we take this opportunity to pay tribute to you for laying the foundations of free, fair, and credible elections anywhere in the world. I think we should just appreciate the support. Yeah. Very, very, very important. And even when it came to a point where it affected you, you now said, we obey the will of the people. And that is giving the party a tremendous image worldwide. So that's Syndicate 7. We tasked them, how do you win elections under this kind of regime? So they came up with ideas of how to win elections convincingly, even under a situation like this. A team of very brilliant professors and experts on how to win elections in a free, fair, and credible system that we visit. Then Syndicate 8, we charged Syndicate 8 with looking at how we can encourage all other parties who believe, those lovers of democracy from other parts of the world, including like Nigeria and other parts. And then, of course, we were finished with the final syndicate on media. So we organized ourselves in such a way that the work of the committee was assigned in various areas. So the report we are bringing today is full of very specific, very well thought out, and very effective strategies of ensuring that the party is not only revived, energized, but effectively, as it were, moving to mobilize towards winning elections by the grace of God in 2019. We don't want to take your precious time in going through the various chapters, but I think it's important for us to emphasize that with the issue of how to revive this party, the committee thought very, very wisely that we must do our best to reach out to all leaders and elders and others within the party that in one way or another may not have been happy with things done in the party. We reconnect with them and ensure that everybody is on board. Then the youth and the women, they're considered to be the very, very powerful groups within the party, and that we haven't really, as it were, organized them effectively in the past. So the suggestion is that we may actually bring back more or less like a youth wing and a women wing, so as to be vibrant, organized, and they are the ones, the main drivers, of the party. Because the youth and the women, you neglect them, then you have a serious problem in any election. And we also want to highlight, in terms of the issue of internal democracy. Everybody agreed that one of the key problems that we faced in the past was really lack of genuine internal democracy within the party, how we elect candidates for elections. And the committee, the syndicate came out with brilliant ideas of how we should do this, and I think it was very popular that we actually returned to the days that we started with of direct primaries. In such a way that every member of the party who was a registered member of the party would have the right and the power to come out during primaries to say, look, I prefer Mr. X to Mr. Y. And a number of other set of very, very important things were brought out in the issue of internal democracy. The other area that is worth highlighting is our reaching out to friendly parties because of inter-party affairs. We felt it's very, very important to really, as it were, build up on the emerging two-party system in Nigeria. Since the PDP is already on the ground and the APC has emerged, we thought we should reach out to all the other parties that are friendly with the PDP, like the People's Redemption Party, Social Democratic Party, APGA, Accord Party, Labour Party, Alliance for Democracy, about 7 of them. And when we actually had our meeting after submitting our report the other day, and 2 or 3 more willing to really come to us, National Conscience Party and a few others. So we are meeting with them step by step, and after our first meeting with the groups that we are talking with, we set up a subcommittee under the chairmanship of Senator Ibrahim Ida, who is to harmonize the key positions in terms of the core values, the principles, the key programs, and the basis of our really working together. And so far, it's been taken very seriously by the other parties. So, Mr. President, we have the honor this morning to present a report to you, which has been very well articulated, and we thought we should take this opportunity to present a copy to you. We know you will study it because you are a great party person, a person who loves our party, very disciplined. We know that you have some ideas, because this will now go through the various organs in the party for approval. So I have the honor, sir, to present it.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, thank you. One of our great leader, Professor Jerry Ghana, is chairing the committee. I know he will chair very well.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'll put that in my CV.
Thank you. My colleagues in the Green Party, you are all welcome. First, let me commend the great job this committee have done. And also most sincerely commend the leadership of Senator Makarfi and his team and their vision to set up this committee. Because that's the only way you can strengthen institutions. That's the only way you can strengthen political parties. And I'm one person who believes that for a nation to grow, the institutions must be very strong, just like you mentioned about the INEC. There is no way a nation will grow with weak institutions. Because everything about politics is about the people, not about the individuals. And as long as you're interested in the people, you're interested in the growth of society, you're interested in the development of your nation, the only thing that will make it possible is that the institutions will be strong. You can see as powerful as America, look at Donald Trump. And the court just said, no, you can't do this. And of course, he has to sort that one out before you move further. That's the strength of institutions. That's the only way society could be controlled and individuals could be regulated so that we don't go overboard. I listened to the presentation. That day I was in my office and I just suspended everything and I watched the presentation, and it was quite good. So even as we were summarizing, already I listened to you that the more detailed presentation, and I comment the activities. That is the way to grow. Because I remember, especially when you talk about direct and indirect primaries. Direct primaries is ultimate. It's the best way of selecting candidates. But the greatest problem society have is how to manage direct primaries. Because it means that if, for example, you want to elect a governor or a president, you cannot bring everybody to one place. That means that voting will take place at either at the ward level, or local government level, or the unit level, or whatever. And party like PDP, that there's no polling unit that you don't have at few PDP members across. PDP is still the biggest party.
Oh, yes.
The strongest party. happened 2015 general election. Yes, we lost the presidency, but that does not diminish PDP. And of course, every other party in Nigeria also know that PDP is still the party. And I think losing the presidency is something temporary. We should be able to get that position back as long as we put our house in. I'm happy that people are working towards that. I also read the report. I remember when I was the vice president, there was a time I was looking for a copy of that, my submission to I think whether the BOT or the caucus. I think Dabawa was my advisor on politics. I gave him the decision, then he worked it out and we presented it. I said that the best way to stop imposition is to make sure that people don't control the delegates. If you go by delegate election, it is easier to manage. I do select delegates that at least 70% of the delegates will not be under the control of anybody. And I said that the presidential primaries are better because the elected delegates are just about 25% or a little less. Because for presidential primaries, you have one elected delegate per local government. So it's 777 elected delegates. The other ones are statutory delegates that cannot change their mind. And I was saying that if we cannot go direct primaries, then let us make sure that once increase the number of statutory delegates, people who have held offices in the parties at different levels, even if it's the level of a councillor. Now we have delegates who elect, maybe with this report will change, but one odd thing is that our councillors are not even delegates. This is quite odd. But we'll go to the ward and elect delegates. The councillor that have won the election is not a delegate. That people have held offices in the party before, who have been governors, deputy governors, senators, House of Reps, House of Assembly, and so on and so forth. So the party can come up with a criteria where some level of offices, party chairman, state auditors, and both the party offices and the offices that control the government. If people have held some of these offices, all this group of people that are still in the party, they could be automatic delegates. So that people that are known by everybody. Nobody will go and manipulate a list. If I've been a speaker of a state before I'm a speaker, there's no way anybody can go and remove my name. So you will not manipulate. So by the time we have a reasonable number of statutory delegates that are more than 3/4, more than 5% of the total delegates that will vote, then it becomes difficult for somebody to go and manipulate that list. At best, you can go and vote. Of course, it's all about talking to people. So if you talk to the people at the poll, vote for you, fine, but at least nobody will wake up and come and write. Because I vote some people and write a list of delegates, then go and count that delegates in 1 to 10. And,
yes,
so those are the things I was suggesting. Direct primary ultimate, but my worry is managing direct primary. It's almost like general election. But I heard you very well that day. You said that there's recommendation for direct primaries, but in the case there will be no direct primaries, there's an alternate.
But Dr. Babangida they worked out an alternative in case.
So I'm quite pleased with that. But as a summary, I have to thank all of you. This is a way to strengthen the party, and I believe the reforms are made. Now we have made the youth wing. Before we had youths, we have women, but they were not really well defined by our own constitution. So though they were doing very well, because they cannot win election without the youth and the women.
That's true.
Because they are more than 80% of the voting population.
Oh, somebody is smiling.
They didn't want to believe that. But I've told them in our regime, we give prominence to women.
Yeah, we tried.
I have that to a big book. Jonathan loves women. I have it.
So I'm most grateful for this visit, and I will also look at it. And if there are certain observations that I have, I will put it in writing and send it to you. But I listen to you and I'm quite pleased. I'm not sure I'll have any observation to make. So thank you for this. It's a clear sign that the PDP will do better 2019.
Oh.
We have to commend the relationship we are establishing with other political parties, and that is the way to go. Because politics are like human relations. So if some group of parties and PDP think alike, we should be able to have some conversations. So that there are certain areas where we have common interests. Where we have common interests, we should be able to collectively protect that common interest. And where we have differences, so manage the differences in a way that will not create acrimony. So, Prof, I thank you and members of this great committee.
Thank you very much.
Convey my appreciation to our chairman. Thank you all.
The chairman of Nasarawa is representing all the state chairmen. Mr. Francis Orogu. He came in from Nasarawa this morning.
You're welcome. We have somewhere to manage them.
Yeah, well, okay. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, there's people say when you climb an Iroko tree, you now fetch all the fire you before you have to fetch. Now that we're here, we will not just present this report. I think all my delegation would like to join you in a group photography. We have your permission.
Yes, we will.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Oh, you're outside? Okay.
Because we are glad.
Gentlemen of the press, this is a presentation, so it's not a press conference.
No question and answers.
No question and
If they remove this, we can achieve it.
So when you are ready, gentlemen of the press, that's the presentation. We'll just have a good photograph outside. So you may want to put...
Let's go outside and search for the photograph.
Oh, sorry, but it's such a short notice. Thank you very much.
Give the other.